Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mott. We're going to go through the equal volumes of gases lab, and it's going to tell us how we get the mass and the volume of a gas. A little bit tricky. So what I've got is Erlenmeyer flask here. It's got a stopper, a couple glass tubes going in there, and we like to call these bunny ears. Okay. First step we're going to do is we're going to fill the flask with our gas. So the first one we're going to do is oxygen. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to hook up, alright, our gas through here, and I'm actually doing this through the one that's connected to the longer glass tube there. So it's going to fill from the bottom, and we're going to turn this on. Feel through this one. So I feel some gas coming out of there. So what we're doing is we're filling the flask with that gas and pushing out any air. We know that air is only 20% roughly oxygen, so we're filling that. And let's see. So it says to do that and count to 20, and then we're going to do a couple things. We got these clamps. Alright, I think these are like dialysis tube clamps, and what we're going to do is that when I turn the gas off, I'm going to clamp this end, and then I'll clamp this end to capture that gas. Okay, so got that in there, and you have to do this simultaneously. When I clamp this and close that, turn the gas off, because otherwise this top will pop off. That's why I'm wearing my safety glasses. Okay, so we'll do like a count of 3 maybe. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I'm going to clamp this other side. Okay, and then I'm going to disconnect. So right now my flask is totally full with oxygen. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to weigh it. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the number is. You got to write it down. Okay. 189 grams, 0.06, 189.06. Alright, got to remember that number. Okay, now the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to evacuate the flask. So we want to now remove all of the gas out of there. So this tube here is hooked up to a vacuum pump. Alright, whoops. And so I'm going to now remove all that. Remove all that air, or excuse me, remove all that oxygen we filled it up. So I'm going to hook this in. Okay, hopefully we have a good seal. Alright, and I'm going to unclamp this guy. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the vacuum pump, and we know we got a good seal. You can see this tube on my right here that is getting flat. So now, according to our instructions, turn on for about 15 seconds. Alright, and we got a nice flat tube here. If you can see that, flat tube and a flat tube. We're getting a good vacuum now. So now this is kind of the reverse. You actually want to clamp this before you turn the vacuum pump off. Alright, so I think maybe it's been about 15 seconds or so. We're going to clamp that, and then we're going to turn that pump off, and then we can disconnect it. Alright, making sure I take that in there. So, alright. Now I still have a vacuum, so this is a real important step. I still know I have a vacuum here because my tubes are both flat on either side. Okay, so the tube part there, both flat. So now I'm going to get the mass of this guy. I'm going to write this down here just in case. Mass, so this was O2, 189.06 was the other one. This says 188.80. So our other one was 189, then this one is less, which we would expect. We would expect this one to be less because we took all that out. Now, kind of the fun part, and this will be a little bit tricky for you guys to see, because I don't have a totally clear flask, maybe I should have used a big beaker, but I don't have one here. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you. I've got a bucket. Okay, there's my bucket of water. Not too exciting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this flask, I'm going to invert it, and then I'm going to open up one of these clamps underneath the water. Okay, so let me see if I can show some of this without dumping my iPad in the water. Let's see. Maybe not. And so I'm going to kind of show this here, and maybe I won't be able to show it. Alright, anyway, let me show you from the side. Maybe we'll be able to see some of it. Be able to see the flask here. So I've got a vacuum, right? Super low pressure. So then when I take one of those clamps off and massage the tube there, we should see, you can see what's happening there is that I am filling the flask there with some water. Alright, and so it's happening right at the edge there, and when that stops, that means now the pressure is equal. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to hold, I think that stopped there. So now I don't see any more water going in there, so I'm going to hold that with my finger, turn it upside down, and now I'm going to get the volume of that gas. Okay, so the volume of the gas was the volume of the water that is in my flask now. Okay, so I'm going to take this, pour it into a graduated cylinder, and read my graduated cylinder. And at eye level, so this is about 168. Alright, so we're going to write that number down. So that's the process where we fill a flask with the gas, we evacuate it to know what the mass of the gas is, and then that process with the bucket is how we find the volume. Okay? We'll do that for another gas, and then we're going to compare those numbers, and we're going to go through the calculations either together in class or in another YouTube there. Alright, thanks for watching.